responsible. Now you give people oil block that don't even know the people in the area. So when these things are happening, they don't even know who to talk to. But when you give an asthma know who he's talking to. So definitely there will be a lot of transparency in that area.
Okay, the Niger Delta Development Commission and the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, how do you see their own efforts?
Yeah, it's a brand new board they just brought. I think they just resumed work this Monday. We still give them time, but I believe they will perform. I strongly believe they will perform. I have confidence on the new board they brought in, because they have open door for communication. It's not like the former one you shut doors against people you're supposed to talk to. Okay, like I'm single-handedly trying to. The Youth Assembly has sent a letter for in the United Nations in New York, and some of the generals will be going. I single-handedly initiate that without the government effort. Why am I doing this? Is to build. it's just to build the people, give the people another sense. Because I can't do it alone.
You yourself have a position, obviously, of some importance in the region. With that comes responsibility as well, obviously. How do you convince agitators, those in the region themselves, who question the sincerity of the President's administration in terms of improving the situation there?
I'm a stakeholder there. I'm a stakeholder there. If I am telling you that it's a fraud, you know I didn't buy that idea. So definitely I am the voice of the voiceless. I speak for the people that are supposed to be benefiting, that are supposed to know what is going on, that does not know what's going on. Single-handedly, as the Ambassador Youth for Human Rights, I launched a campaign on the 10th of December 2016 on catching them young.
Okay.
We target age 12 to 26. Why am I doing all this? I have distributed close to 20,000 booklets on what on human rights. Because when I know my rights, you know your rights. You're going to know that if I'm doing this thing wrong to you, what about if they do it to me? So if everybody knows their rights, we'll have a level of security in that area. Okay, so single-handedly we're doing that, taking our people from without government, we're taking them, putting them in schools with our hard-earned funds. Okay, so what we are doing all this is not because we love we love the way things are going. Things are not actually going well, to be honest. Okay, things are not actually going well. But let's see if the NDDC can channel some things and get things done. But we're trying our best to orientate our people, but we need the government to still do more to talk to the right people. So when you talk to the right people, this whole thing, you won't be going back and front. You hear publication again some time ago that the Niger Delta Avengers will go back to Creek. And I'll tell you a secret here. When you say the Niger Delta Avengers, they have access to media, so they can claim names and claim. See, people do that. There are a lot of different groups doing these things, not just one group. So when another group, a smaller group did that, one will come out and claim the claim. So it's not even, they are just publicizing Avengers anyway.
Okay.
We're making them too big in this system.
All right. So just talk to us a little bit about your, the Youth for Human Rights International. How long has it been in existence? And
the Youth for Human Rights has been in existence for over 15 years after the signing of the Human Rights Bill, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the UN in 1984. Okay, but I came into that picture. They made me the ambassador last year, August, in the conference, and making me an ambassador because they see that I am towing the line of peace and nation building. So just last year, I think I won 7 awards for peace ambassador. I have 4 international until we look at whoever believes that a local Niger boy will take this award. So these are people like me are such of inspiration to the people. So we need to encourage other likes. We need to build more leaders that can actually come out and actually that will be a role model to those people. Not arms. Arms cannot settle our problems. Arms cannot settle our problems. What we really need is peace to build the nation. So in other words, you build the people's capacity, we can actually build a nation.
All right. Just finally, just give us an idea of the reality of life in that region on a Let's say just on a daily basis.
Life is miserable. Life is a survival of the fittest.
Okay.
And that's why you don't see peace. You don't just dream of peace today. It's a survival of the fittest. Our people are suffering. There is no better life there. We don't have roads. We don't have water. We don't have health care. No access to any good life. I tell you, when you come there, you cry. We have over 500 communities in Niger Delta in the 9 states, and I tell you, if I talk about Delta State and I talk about Bayelsa, say when you go into the creek, you don't even think we even produce oil. So I think the oil is supposed to be a blessing and is a cost to the region. So we don't want to believe that anymore. So we think let's use another way to approach it. But life is miserable there. And we need the government to definitely come in fully and make foreign investors come in and give them easy policies for them to come and develop. We'll secure any multinationals that are coming. We'll secure any partnership because we want the place to be developed.
All right. Yeah. Well, we certainly hope that lasting peace will sooner rather than later be achieved in the Niger Delta region. And no doubt the President's administration is working assiduously to achieving this. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us on Insight and discussing this issue with us, this very critical issue in the nation's history and hopefully development. I've been talking with Ambassador Young Piero of the Youth for Human Rights International. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
And up next will be the media review segment.
You can't take away just about anything physical from a man, but you cannot take away what is up here, his knowledge. And that brings us straight to what we will be talking about on the media review segment today, capacity building of Nigerian journalists. That is, how well equipped is the average Nigerian journalist knowledge-wise? I'm Eunice Tokura, and my guest is Major Aku Amboson. He is a practicing journalist and a lecturer as well as a consultant in the field of journalism. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Now, basically, we're looking at how the rate of training and the level of professionalism in the practice of journalism in Nigeria. Now, how would you assess the level of professionalism of Nigerian journalists?
In Nigeria, I think we have well-trained journalists today. By 1962, we had only 2 universities. Nsukka was the first university that started a department in mass communication, followed by UNILAG. UNILAG became a full-fledged department, and these 2 universities were the first. But today, if you look at the standard way, Nigeria, we have some of the best journalists, trained journalists. We have 52 universities in Nigeria that offering courses in mass communication, and then 23 polytechnics and monotechnics in the country that are offering similar courses. It's solely University of Lagos that offers Yoruba and communication studies. But all the other ones, their courses are unique and they are good courses.
Yes, but you would agree that typically in Nigerian universities, you find out that it's more of theory than practical, and a lot of people graduate before they get into the field and start to see how they can learn over again. Why do you think this is so? Isn't it important to incorporate practical knowledge while in the university?
I think there's a failure by the universities on that aspect. Journalism is supposed to be a practical thing.
Sure.
We don't have studios, we don't have language laboratories, we don't have trained hands to manage all those places. One collaborative aspect which I feel every time I always make a comment, we can have exchange programs with Al Jazeera, CNN, BBC, CCTV in China. There are so many nations that are ready to help Nigeria, but we're not prepared to go out to look for them.
Yes, I think there was a meeting sometime last year when the Minister of Information, there was a meeting, and then they implored Al Jazeera to help out with journalists and other spheres to improve them. But I don't think it was followed up from then onwards, which is where the problem lies. But with the existence of bodies like NUJ, NAWOJ, that's the National Association of Women Journalists, what do you think has been done to enhance the expertise and capacity of media practitioners in Nigeria?
NUJ is not doing enough. We have an institute, International Institute of Journalists, supposed to be the African campus, but they are not putting enough pressure to ensure that quality equipment are given to that. We can collaborate with, there are so many embassies here. We can request for cameras, high definition cameras from them, even training the staff. We can get staff from the countries to take care of the institute. But we need a big campus. If IIJ is going to be since it is the baby of NUJ, there should be a standard. And this standard is this. We can borrow from MBA. MBA, they have a law school. If you are bringing degree holders to practice journalism, give them 3 months training. There should be a combined training, just 3 months for them. Those with diplomas, 6 months. So that we have a standard. There is the need for standard. There's a need for standard. NUJ is not thinking about that. We need to start a program for degree holders, those who read other courses, not media, to have a 3 months training that will streamline and then bring them into the proper practice of journalism.
Okay, now considering the ever-evolving global economy where everyone is racing against time to develop one area or the other, now what is the place of Nigeria in the area of competition?
Where the global economy and that's the privatization,
particularly in journalism.
Journalism, I'm so happy with NTA, but I want to see an NTA having its own journalism training school. Oh. Just like Time Journalism in Lagos during those.
But we have a TV college.
TV college, it should be fully, they should ensure that every staff attends that training, and NUJ should ensure that people attend the training there. It's a good opening, and it brings healthy competition in media practice. If we allow that, if you are working with AIT, you should be able to go there. If any media house, you should be able to go there.
It should be more of a mandate.
Yes, it should be a mandate.
Oh, okay.
NUJ should make it mandatory for all practicing journalists to attend training there in TB College in Jos. So it brings in standard for all programs.
Okay, so let's take that as a recommendation, right?
That's how I look at it. It's a very good one.
Okay, now the dearth of investigative journalism is fast becoming visible in Nigeria. Now, what do you think is responsible for this?
I keep telling my students in the school that journalism is just like security work you're doing. So we must take a risk. If you are supposed to be in the field, you must go out. If you are investigating anybody who is involved in corruption, you should be able to painstakingly go in there and do the thorough investigation. That is investigative journalism. Not that you sit in a deer follow and get information. No, you must follow that person. It can take you 3 years to get information on that. If you look at the media in US, the media determines who becomes a president, who becomes a senator. We are a bit lazy here. We wait for handout, and that is the problem. We don't go out to the field to get information, and we need facts. You can't gather facts by sitting in the office. You must be in the field. If you are covering Maiduguri, Boko Haram crisis, you must be there to report it live. The crisis in Southern Kaduna, you must be there. Niger Delta, you must be there to report it live.
But don't you think that, if you look at it from the point of view of the journalists now, it's no excuse though, but you find out that they are being paid stipends, little or no welfare package is involved. And speaking of insurance, there's basically no solid insurance in place for journalists in Nigeria. Don't you think this is what is responsible for that?
NUJ has failed in that aspect. They're supposed to enforce it. They're supposed to ensure that we get very good pay. If a journalist is not well paid, he runs into brown envelopes, freebies, He collects bribes from people, and that is not okay. He compromises, and he can't report anything.
Sure.
So you should be able to pay journalists well. They are the fourth arm of government. We are supposed to look at them like that. Without without the media, there's no government. There's no country. Because we monitor, we do a lot of work on those who are doing well in governance. If there is maladministration, it is the media that reports it.
Okay.
If there is corruption, it is the media that reports it.
True. Speaking of being the fourth estate of the realm, which you rightly mentioned, would you say they have been given the voice to actually stand as the fourth estate of the realm?
Yeah, the media has been given that. The bill is there, and it was approved during Obasanjo's period, and I would say the journalists in Nigeria practice of journalism in Nigeria seems to be very free. You hardly hear that a journalist is being detained because of one bad report. No. Journalists are very responsible. That's what I notice here. There's no yellow journalism here. If there is, an individual should be able to sanction them.
Okay, in few words, having identified that there are actually shortcomings in the area of training, retraining, capacity building, and journalism practice in Nigeria generally. Now, what do you think is the way out?
The way out is for NUJ to have a program. They should have a training program, a department just focusing on training to ensure the streamlined training of journalists, even those who read other courses. They should be able to have these 3 months who I've just mentioned for degree holders, and then 6 months for diploma holders, because that is the minimum for practice of journalism. But we need to have a program by NUJ, and NUJ should be able to monitor performance of journalists in the field.
Okay, so aside being a member of the umbrella body of journalists, that's the NUJ, it should be a mandate that as a journalist, once you take up the mantle to practice journalism, you should go to those institutes to become a full-fledged trained journalist.
Yes.
So are you saying that training is one of the reasons that the shortcomings are in place?
Yes, with the former
lack of training.
Yes, the lack of training. With former training, you came in maybe with a degree, but you are lacking one aspect. One aspect that your organization should have an on-the-job training for you, and it should be regular. Every organization should ensure they train their staff regularly.
In line with their in-house style and
to meet up standards, global standards. That is what we actually need.